afternoon, and thank you for joining me today. I wanted to take a few minutes to talk to you all about a topic that a lot of people think is very far in the future, or it's something they think about and they consider they don't have to really think about it until later, but in all reality it's something that the sooner you start thinking about, the better, and that's called retirement. Now I have this little slide here because retirement means different things to different people, and I personally think that in the near future the word retirement is going to go away. So these are just some buzzwords and things that people are starting to call it other than retirement. So if I hear you chuckling or laughing, I'm going to assume it's because you're looking at the slide and not because it's something I said. But in terms of talking about retirement, there are three things I want to give you some tips about: ways to prepare, plan, and save. A lot of people think about retirement and push it to the back burner. If this is something that you've done, you're not alone. A 2005 study by Christian Weller and American economist Edward Wolf notes that 20% of homeowners and 60% of renters will have retirement income that's less than twice the poverty line. And the same study states that for the typical person approaching retirement, the value of expected future Social Security retirement benefits represents the largest single source of wealth. So when you think about retiring and preparing for it, there are three things you can do. First, you can plan. And when I say plan, I mean there are a few things you can do. First, you can make a list of all your income and expenses and leisurely activities that you're incurring right now. And then you make a second list of what you think these income and expenses will be once you retire. What's going to be different? Think about some things that you'll be doing in retirement that you're not doing now. Maybe you'll be traveling or visiting friends and family. Maybe you'll start that hobby or even have a second career. Start a business that you've always wanted to. Do volunteer work. Maybe become a board member of an organization or company that you've always wanted to help out with. There are going to be differences between these two lists. Take a look at some things that you may be incurring now that you won't be incurring in retirement, and vice versa. For instance, right now, maybe you have expenses like work clothes, student loans, mortgage payments, short-term debt. These are some of the things that in all likelihood will go away once you're retiring. And conversely, once you are in retirement, there's some things that you'll start incurring then that you're not incurring now. For instance, thinking about the cost of retiree health insurance premiums, which is a big thing. Or if you are going to be doing more traveling with friends and family, what those expenses will be. So once you have these lists and you get an idea of what your income and expenses will be at these two periods in your life, the next thing you can do is begin to think about saving. And the first thing you want to do is enlist the help of a financial planner. A financial planner will sit down with you and they'll take a look at all the information you've compiled. They'll ask you some additional questions, and they'll help you get down to that magic number. What will you need to be able to live comfortably, whatever that means to you in retirement? And so what are some things that you can do to start saving to reach that goal? And so I want to provide some tips to you about what you can do. In a Kiplinger's October 2012 personal finance article on how to retire rich, states that if you start socking away $200 a month in a retirement account from the moment you land your first full-time job at 22, within 10 years you'll have a stash of more than $37,000, assuming your investments grow 8% a year. In 20 years, you'll have more than $122,000. And by the time you reach age 67, your nest egg will be worth $1.2 million. So everyone is at a different stage in their life, early, mid, or late career. No matter where you are, there's some things that you can start doing now to help you prepare for retirement. You can invest small, consistent amounts in a company 401k. This is a great way of starting to save for your retirement, especially if your company has a company match. You can also start to pay down debts, for instance, student loans. If you have not yet purchased a home, but that's something that you envision doing in the future, start saving small amounts for that home down payment, because once you get in retirement and you have a home that you've paid off, that will help provide you with retirement security and equity income. And also just take small amounts on a regular basis and move it over, say from your checking account into a savings or retirement account. And what's most important is leave it there. And once you do that, before you know it, you'll have a good little amount saved up for retirement. There's some other things that you can do in terms of saving and getting ready for retirement. If you have a job that has merit increases or quarterly or annual bonuses, consider taking those lump sum amounts and depositing them into a savings or a retirement account. If you have been able to live during the year off of your salary, then maybe it's not so painful to take those lump sums and put it in some place and save it away for retirement. Track your daily expenses for a couple of months. Take a look at what you have in terms of discretionary income. Do you have that Starbucks grande every morning? And do you go out to lunch 3 or 4 times a week and go out to dinner 2 to 3 times a week? Look at some ways where you can cut back and take a look at how much that cutback will give you, and take that amount and put it into a retirement savings or savings account on a regular basis. If you are later on in your career and nearing retirement, and for instance, say you're married, you have a home and children, as you're nearing retirement, perhaps you've paid off your debt, your home's paid for, maybe your children are somewhat self-sufficient and have moved out of the nest. Well, one thing you can do is calculate and pretend that you still have those expenses and what are those dollar amounts, and put that money into a retirement or savings account and continue to earn towards your retirement income. Another one thing you can do is take regular snapshots of your expenses, continue to find ways that you can reroute the discretionary spending into savings. And once you reach age 50, if your company has a 401k, you can contribute and catch up contributions where you can put additional pre-tax contributions beyond the normal IRS limit. So these are all things, just some tips that you can do to start saving. And once you do that, you can start thinking about the fun part, planning. And when I say planning, I mean planning emotionally for retirement. This is a great way to motivate and excite you to start preparing for retirement. Come up with a bucket list of all the things that you want to do when you retire. You don't have time now, but you will then. Write it down. Maybe talk to people who have already retired. Offer to meet them for lunch or coffee and ask them to share their good and bad experiences about retirement. That can help you prepare. And also think about what makes you happy and gives you purpose and something that you'll want to do in retirement. Dream, journal about it, think what if, think of ways to excite you to retirement and excite you about where you'll be there and things that you can do to motivate to help you reach your goals. Remember, when you think about retiring, you're not retiring from something, you're retiring to something. And that can be very exciting. So no matter where you are in your life career, it's never too late to start thinking about it, dreaming about it, and taking the steps to plan, save, and prepare for retirement. Thank you.